CPC stresses improving party building in urban communities. The General Office of the Communist Party of China Central Committee has issued a circular on strengthening and improving party building in urban communities. Stressing the importance and urgency of the work, the document calls for stronger and more powerful community-level party organizations. Community-level party committees should improve their ability to coordinate various aspects and focus on fulfilling the main duties and responsibilities of party building, social governance and providing services, it says. In municipalities directly under the central government, deputy provincial-level cities, provincial capital cities and cities with higher levels of economic and social development, communities should not be responsible for attracting investment and assisting in tax collection. When specific communities are involved during the drafting and implementation of an urban plan, opinions of relevant community-level party committees should be sought, according to the circular. The document also expects support for communities to be beefed up to ensure that community-level party organizations have the resources and ability to serve the people. China will expand effective coverage of party building in emerging areas through innovations in the way party organizations are set up and operated and establish building-based, business area and market-based party organizations, the circular says. U.S. interference in China's internal affairs. Extremely dangerous. Chinese mainland experts on Thursday said it was extremely dangerous for the United States to attempt at exploiting the Taiwan question for profit in a politically motivated move to grossly interfere in China's internal affairs. They were responding to the recent passage of two Taiwan-related legislative documents at the U.S. House of Representatives. The United States is used to playing the Taiwan card, said Xin Chang, director of the Center for Taiwan Studies at Fudan University, adding that the motive is to contain China. He said the move revealed a deeply flawed view on China and constituted a grave violation of the One China principle and the Three China-U.S. joint communiques. Liu Xiangping, a Taiwan studies professor at Nanjing University, said the passage of such documents at the U.S. House of Representatives sent a wrong signal to the Democratic Progressive Party administration in Taiwan and the Taiwan Independence Forces. It posed serious harm to peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait, he added. Beijing Union University professor Zhu Songling said the United States would have nothing to gain by pressing on issues related to the Taiwan question. The United States regards Taiwan as a tool, said Liu Guoxian, director of a joint research center for Taiwan studies based in Xiamen University. But the historical and legal fact that Taiwan is part of China can never be changed. China vows to counter U.S. tariffs. Chinese Vice Premier Liu He left shakes hands with U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer Center alongside U.S. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin as Liu arrives at the office of the U.S. Trade Representative for trade negotiations in Washington, D.C., Friday. Photo, AP. After months of truce, the trade war between China and the U.S. escalated on Friday, after the U.S. shrugged off widespread warnings and moved to hike tariffs on Chinese goods, drawing a firm response from China, which vowed to retaliate. Though Chinese and U.S. officials are continuing talks, the renewed tensions between the world's two largest economies significantly complicated ongoing negotiations, dimmed the prospects of any potential trade agreement and stoked fear that a full-fledged trade war could still break out. And the U.S. is to blame for the risky turn of events, Chinese officials and analysts stressed. After days of repeated threats, U.S. officials on Friday noon, Beijing time, increased an existing 10% tariff on $200 billion in Chinese goods to 25%, breaking a truce reached by the leaders of the two countries in December 2018 and highlighting the unreliable and unpredictable nature of the U.S. administration. Minutes after the U.S. tariff hike took effect, China struck back. In a statement, the Chinese Ministry of Commerce (MOFCOM) said that China will have to take necessary countermeasures, while still urging the U.S. to meet China halfway in ongoing negotiations in Washington. Even as tensions escalated, officials pushed through with the 11th round of negotiations as they try to make a last-ditch effort to bring the months-long talks back on track for a trade agreement. The Chinese delegation was seen arriving at the office of the U.S. Trade Representative at around 5 p.m. on Thursday U.S. time and left about an hour and a half later. The talks will continue on Friday morning, according to U.S. media reports. We are now at a very delicate place, where further negotiations have become significantly more difficult. The risk of a further escalation also increased. Song Guoyo, director of Fudan University's Center for Economic Diplomacy, told the Global Times on Friday. "We cannot allow this to become normal. That would be dangerous. Forced retaliation." Chinese officials have repeatedly stressed that China does not want to fight a trade war, but Washington's aggressiveness and belligerence left them no other option but to fight back, analysts said. China will also have to make good on its own words, otherwise, it will be at a huge disadvantage to the U.S. team at the negotiations, said He Weiwen, a former senior Chinese trade official, told the Global Times on Friday, referring to China's earlier vow to retaliate if the U.S. went ahead with the tariff threat. Though the MOFCOM on Friday did not say what countermeasures China will take and when it will implement them, there are many ways China can inflict pain on the U.S. economy, according to analysts. The most direct countermeasure would be raising existing tariffs on U.S. goods or imposing tariffs on more U.S. products. Song said. However, we cannot rule out other policy tools. Song pointed out that with the overall trade relationship souring, U.S. companies' operations and investments in China could also be impacted, given the rising anger among the Chinese public toward the U.S. In the wake of renewed tensions, calls on Chinese social media to boycott U.S. products rose, including U.S. films, iPhones and computers. Why retaliate? All we need to do is boycotting U.S. products, one internet user said on Sina Weibo. Chinese analysts also suggested that China could target the U.S. financial system, the backbone of the U.S. economy, including unloading China's holdings of U.S. Treasury bonds. Big U.S. corporations and products, such as agricultural goods, will also likely encounter more scrutiny and resistance in China. Such an impact on U.S. companies and industries will not be less severe than from the tariffs, Song said. Many U.S. business groups have expressed strong opposition to the tariffs. On Wall Street, U.S. stocks have also suffered losses in the past few days, as have stocks in major bourses across the world. Complicated outlook. While it remains to be seen whether trade officials could still make a breakthrough at the talks, it is clear that the escalation complicates the talks and dims prospects for a deal, analysts said. I don't expect too much from this round of talks, a source in Washington familiar with the talks told the Global Times on Friday, noting that U.S. President Donald Trump had miscalculated. He initially wanted to show how he forced China into making concessions, the source, who spoke on condition of anonymity, said. But that is like forcing China not to sign the deal quickly. However, citing U.S. eagerness, other observers have also argued that there is still a chance for the two sides to reach a deal. I think there is still a chance for the two countries to reach an agreement, Sang Baichuan, director of the Institute of International Business at the University of International Business and Economics in Beijing, told the Global Times on Friday, noting that the two sides still appear eager to reach a deal, despite their tough rhetoric. In what appears to be an attempt to leave room for talks, U.S. officials offered a grace period for the tariff hike. Trump also said on Thursday that a deal is still possible this week and that he might speak to Chinese President Xi Jinping by phone, CNBC reported. Asked about the phone call, Zhang Shuang, a spokesperson for the Chinese Foreign Ministry, said on Friday that he was not aware of such a plan, but the two leaders have maintained close contact. Premier Li stresses professional, craftsman spirits. Chinese Premier Li Keqiang on Friday urged enterprises to carry forward the professional spirit and craftsman spirit and strive for excellence to produce more internationally well-known Chinese name brands. Li made the remarks in a written instruction to the third China Brand Day event, which will last from May 10 to 12 in Shanghai. Reinforcing brand building and promoting the development of the country's advanced manufacturing industry as well as the modern service sector are important moves to unleash domestic consumption potential and promote high-quality growth, Li said. In recent years, the awareness of brand construction has been continuously enhanced in the whole society, said the premier. Li urged all local authorities and government departments to implement the innovation-driven development strategy, encourage mass entrepreneurship and innovation and guide enterprises to carry forward the professional spirit and craftsman spirit, so as to nurture more China brands and provide better Chinese products and services. Activities marking the China Brand Day began in Shanghai Friday. State Councillor Wang Yang attended the event, stressing the importance of stepping up the development of Chinese brands.